to us. And, we have face-to-face trainings, very important. And we target this face-to-face training as for the intermediate to advanced level of training. And we usually will send 2 trainers for each training, especially those longer time. The workshops will be 3 days or more. And if we send 2 trainers, we probably will, our preferred model is 1 staff trainer together with, 1 part-time trainer or community trainer. Sometimes we will work with partners like ICANN because they have expertise on DNS set. I think you all know Champika, so yeah, and he's also very helpful, so very experienced. So we actually love to work with him and ICANN, of course. And after the training, we provide the certificate of attendance. Oh, by the way, for the trainers part, we also want to engage more the help of community trainers because it's very helpful to scale up our training. And, this is my first apricot after I joined APNIC. I joined APNIC 10 months ago, and, these few days, I receive a lot of requests for training. So you can see our training is very, of very high demand. But if we only use our full-time trainers, then we cannot do a lot. And you may or may not know, actually, we only have 3 headcounts for our full-time staff trainer. And we also have a non-online platform for the training. We use Moodle as the LMS system. The courses over there is mostly for introductory to intermediate level of training. And of course, the ideal case would be for people to attend our face-to-face training. We hope them to attend our academy courses first. And we will provide certification after passing the quizzes. This kind of platform, of course, very highly scalable because we do it once, and then we can support thousands, tens of thousands, or even millions of people. So it's scalable, but it takes a lot of effort to develop a course. And right now, we only have 3 courses available. We just soft launched our routing basic course about 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. And I already saw 10 people completing the certification. That's very good. Yeah. And this is the roadmap that we kind of committed for the coming year. The next course will be Introduction to IPv6. And then we have Internet routing protocols, including IGF and, sorry, not IGF. IGP and UGP. Sorry, in APNIC there are now acronyms. Anyway, and then we'll have APNIC address policies, DNS concepts, and RPKI. This is the roadmap that we would like to do for the coming year. And we also have an e-learning platform running on a webcasting platform, Adobe Connect. But this is not very scalable. We will scale down this because we need to spend 1 colleagues to attend the course, but usually in a lot of cases there are maybe 5 attendees. Yeah, at that level it's not very good. And because it's a fixed time arrangement, so in certain time zone, it may not be convenient to people. So we tend to use APNIC Academy more because it's a self-paced learning. People can do the training anytime. That's our preferred model. And we have goals for the coming year. We had a hard time last year. We lost 2 colleagues, but it may not be bad because it allowed us to revamp the whole team, and we would rebuild our foundation And we hope we can have a more solid foundation so as to scale up our training more easily. Scale up means we can do more training to support more people. One of the things that we will do is to make our training content more structured, more standardized, including to modularize the content, and then we can do like customized training more easily. You know, when we talk to people, sometimes they prefer 3 days training, sometimes they prefer 5 days training. You know, we need to do a lot of like customization, although it may cover the same topic. But with this kind of standardized, modularized content, then we can do this easily. And also, we can use the same content to ask different people to do training more easily. And this is about the content part. But for the delivery part, we, at least for now, we don't have planned to increase the headcounts for the full-time trainer. And we would rely on qualified community trainers more to deliver our trainings. And for the training, of course, we talk about, for community trainers, talk about helping us on the face-to-face training more. And the long-term goals, of course, well, this is long-term, but that's what we want to do. Accreditation, certification. Certification means, we go through a proper assessment process. And then the certification would not be just certificate of attendance, but certificates of something else, maybe achievement or something else, with some examination and quizzes. And local language support is also on high demand. Right now, we can only do our content in English, but in a lot of economies that we serve, we actually receive a lot of requests for like local language support. This will be the next step, and we need we need our partners to help us because we are not really, local. And when we have better or structured training content, then we can employ our partners to do training, to do our training more. We can train the trainers, and then different partners can make use of our training materials to deliver training by themselves. Then we can scale up our training more easily. This kind of partners can be different organizations like NIRs, like NOGs, like IXs. We hope to partner with our close partners to do training locally. Regarding the licensing of training programs, I just want to make it clear that we adopt the Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial Share Alike 4.0 international model. That would mean, is open source. So people can freely make use of our content, so long as they are doing it for non-commercial purpose and attribution to us. And if they add more to our content, they have to share that content also using the same compatible licensing terms. And with this, we want to work closely with partners which have compatible licensing terms, so that maybe some of our own training materials will develop on top of others' contents. Maybe ICANN, maybe NSRC, maybe ISOC. Yeah, they are all our close partners. Then we don't need to have a duplication of effort. And regarding our team, we have just gone through a reorganization. Now our team is renamed. In the past it was called Development Team. Now it's called Infrastructure and Development Team because we have the Infrastructure Services team joining us. And in fact, under our team, most of our colleagues are technical engineers, and we are more technical, more infrastructure-oriented than before. And that would mean, we can, the training team especially, they can get help and support from infrastructure service team as well as security team more easily than before. And of course, we have people, colleagues, dedicated to support training, and we have a new structure, training curriculum manager and team, training service manager and team, and senior development coordinator and team. Talk more about that. Regarding the training curriculum manager, as I mentioned, we want to build a solid foundation. And the foundation is the content. And we need someone who is expert in this area to help us to do that. So actually, we have just hired a education expert. And it's very good that he will be on board next week after we go back. And this position, his name is Peter. Very easy to remember. It's so, I don't know why, but this is our first Peter. And we have a lot of Georges, Right now we have 5 Georges, but this is our first Peter. And Peter will be in charge, and his team, of course, will be in charge of the content development and management, curriculum development and management, APNIC Academy, design of the community trainers program. And for the content development part, he and his team will work with subject matter experts to develop training content. And this team would not do training delivery, will do content mainly, only. And so that, we hope the development can be done faster and better. And for the training delivery part, we'll have a new position, training service manager, who will be in charge of training delivery, technical assistance, I'll talk more about that, management of the staff trainers and community trainers, operations of the training, community trainers program. Operations means to manage and recruit the community trainers. And of course, this position also help provide inputs on the design of the program, but the design would be more for the training curriculum manager. But, we will mostly recruit community trainers from our own community. So this position has to have good connection with our community. We usually call our community technical community. And so technical community engagement is also under this team. And because of that, this position will help recruit subject matter experts to develop training content. And the position is now currently vacant. And we also have a senior development coordinator to help us to the training scheduling, coordination, logistics. If you have arranged, collaborate with us on training before, you may work with her before. Her name is Lisa. And she's very, very helpful. And so she'll help take care of the logistics. And right now, under this training team, we have 2 vacancies. One is the training service manager, another is the staff trainer. And I forgot to introduce, but you know them already. Our current staff trainer, including Tashi and Jessica. And they are full-time trainer. We also have, part-time trainer. Part-time means 50% or less, like Shang. Shang actually was full-time trainer before, but now she is with the infrastructure service team. Probably I don't know whether she liked it or not, but she left development team and now she's back. And also Jamie over there, he's with the security team, but he does a lot of training, security focus, and he is also helping us a lot on the training. And on that side, in fact, Shakayak and Arts especially, of course there's Matt also, but have you done training before? And Shakayak just did a training in Indonesia. Yeah, I cannot remember the name of that place, but it's somewhere. Huh? I cannot remember. And she just did it. And she actually, similar to Shang, she's with infrastructure service team, but now she's helping us on training a bit. And Art, of course, he did a lot of training before, and he will continue to do that, I think, right? Especially on the DNSSEC part. So we have I missed anyone? Oh, yeah, we also have Sanjay, George, yeah, one of the Georges over there. But anyway, for the training, our focus is training. So the colleagues that I mentioned actually did help on our training quite a lot, thanks to them. And okay, the training program. This is the rough idea, the framework. Of course, we haven't really decided on the details, but we hope to get inputs from you guys. For the community trainers program, it's very important for us because we need to do more and more face-to-face training, but we don't have enough trainers. And with the community trainers, we hope we can do better and more. And now we are revamping the program to make it more structured, more creditable. And we need to go through assessment. And in fact, going forward, of course, we want to make it a recognized position. Yeah, we will publish it on websites saying that who are our current community trainers. And in a lot of cases, when we would put new trainers, he or she would help us as an assistant trainer, the second trainer, and so that we can do assessment. And after a few training, we can decide whether we would continue to, or employ he or she. And our target is to recruit 20 or more. Of course, it may be a bit aggressive, but we will try. And for the community trainers, mostly would be recruited from the technical community that we serve. And in a lot of cases, people are running networks, infrastructure with good operational experience. And also would have good human connections. That's also very important. And to us, we consider those community trainers as volunteers because they usually would have full-time job. And when we engage him or her for training, we'll give, I don't know whether it's the right word, I copied it from the academic area, honorarium. And we pay a little bit of money for each engagement, and we also would cover the airfare and accommodation, of course. And so that, our communications will not have problem on the traveling part. And it's also very important if in certain economies, local language support is important, and we may, it may be okay to deliver the training in English, but when there's discussion or questions, then probably it's better to have someone to help us or help the attendees on doing the discussion or asking the questions. And regional knowledge expertise also important. We cannot have people who have experience and knowledge for the whole APNIC region. No, it's impossible. And so hopefully our community trainers can help us to cover that, especially for the training. And if we build up this group, then whenever we have new ideas, then we'll ask them to give us advice because they are really engaging with us. They know the community and they know the demand and requirements of the community. So we'll treat them as our advisor. And probably you will fully understand that whenever we put our own staff. Our community trainers, in fact, are our candidates, right? So, yeah, this is the side benefit, especially if you like to join APNIC. And talk more about technical assistance. We do advisory or tailor-made technical assistant work for certain members, and we actually don't want to compete with the commercial consultants. So we usually just maybe do 1 day or 2 day network, look at the infrastructure, the diagram and configuration, and give them some advice. That's it. But sometimes we may help, maybe especially on the IX development, we may help them to set up the IX and things like that. And for this kind of work, we need community trainers also. Yeah. If like our community trainers have experience on setting up an IX in their own economy, they should be able to help us on setting up IX in maybe in neighboring economies. So this is very, very useful to us. And our current focuses will be IXP routing and V6. We don't, right now we don't really do a lot. The main reason, of course, is the resources issue. But if we have more community trainers, we may be able to do more. These are the links that you can go to get more information. And now this discussion. Comments, questions, whatever. In fact, a lot of the people here actually helped us before, but it's very good to have them here. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So no one is coming, so I can break the ice. Thank you, Cheho, for the nice presentation. I was a community trainer, so it was my great pleasure to work with APNIC for several times as a community trainer. So initial time when I started with APNIC, so I face a problem that I'm a technical guy. I'm working in a company for last 10 years, but teaching is a different thing rather than working with routers and servers. So as you are formalizing the whole community training program, I will request you to have a training for the trainers. So if you can arrange it after like formalizing the whole thing, and if we can get good trainers, and then we can sit together for 3 days, and you can organize a trainer to train us how to train.
Yeah, because some kind of orientation or induction.
Yes, because all we I found all of them are technically really sound, but delivering and how to deliver in some place where people are not like understanding English properly. This is one, and make them understand after the whole day, so that they won't be blind. So that's the tricky part that we really don't know. So that's the request. Thank you.
That's a very good point. Thank you. Thank you. So that's probably one of the reasons why we asked the training curriculum manager to design the program, because Peter is the real education expert, and he knows how to train the trainers. Yeah, that's good.
Thank you. I'm really new in this field. I worked in a regulator, Bangladesh regulator, for 8 years. I had the experience of ITU, IGF, these kind of things. So I have understanding that the technical guys who are actually attending the APNIC trainings are actually don't have the clear boundary lines that what is whose service, what is submarine cables things to do, what is ISP's things to do. So a bit of regulatory and what I'll say, functional knowledge apart from pure technical knowledge kind of training may be introduced. Another thing is that our region is new to the cloud data centers or co-location data centers, which requires the tier certification and some certain way of operation of network nodes. So this kind of data center infrastructure operation kind of trainings, these two trainings needs to be introduced because these were adopted by the other RIRs and North America, Europe, they have passed these phases. So it's my request that these two things may be introduced, and I'll be really honored if I get the opportunity to help in these two fields. Thank you.
Good suggestion. Thank you. Yeah, certainly, I think this is one of the points that we may address, especially maybe on the APNIC Academy. That's the background introduction level. But in fact, sometimes we also do this kind of not really standardized program, but awareness training. We did quite a bit for like law enforcement agency and other government-related agencies, and maybe we need to make it more standardized so that we can, employ other people to help, not just for us to do it. Yeah, thank you.
Hi, Anurag from Hurricane Electric, and also one of the community trainers.
Thank you.
I have a few miscellaneous unrelated points to make, and one is, of course, we have already discussed in person, but I thought since it's a bigger forum, so maybe to bring it up again, is that the training material is excellent, but at the same time, it has gotten a bit outdated in terms of the platform it's supporting. If you look at the Asian, South Asian, East Asian countries, they are using entirely different platforms due to whatever reasons, commercial reasons, availability reasons, etc. And in that way, I find it hard to justify, the training material which APNIC is using. There have been instances where people ask me certain things, and I hesitate to suggest them to go to training because if they are using all Huawei or all Microtech or any other vendor, while the training would be essentially pretty much all Cisco oriented. So it would be excellent to have training, more specific to certain platforms, which are now almost maybe way above 40–50% of the market at this point of time for the smaller operators.
Thank you. In fact, I responded to you earlier, but
Sure.
yeah, better to say it again here. That's exactly why we hire the training curriculum manager dedicated to do the content development, and this will be the task for him and his team. I forgot to mention, in fact, for this kind of development, actually we can pay people to help us to develop program, which will take shorter time.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. The other point is about the interaction. Many times during training, most of trainers as well as community trainers share their email address, and a small amount of interaction happens over email. It would be excellent if there can be an official training mailing list. Instead of having a mailing list per event, maybe a common mailing list where people can come up and share. I suggested to some of the participants in past about maybe just discussing
The
over
alumni mailing list, something like that? Alumni mailing list?
what?
Alumni, yeah. Like graduates.
that could be a case. It would be good to have, multiple people discussing multiple things instead of just one-to-one interaction. There can be case where someone say emails, Tashi after a training, and he may reply back after a week, while if it's on a mailing list, there could be, 20, 30 people looking at it, discussing about the case, plus a lot more local interaction, which a lot of people hesitate initially. So maybe a common mailing list, or, maybe per event mailing list, if that makes sense, while it would be then, it would be a hassle to manage so many of mailing lists. And another point I had was about IPv6. So while there has been a lot of discussion as well as training material around IPv6 in routing, and it's excellent to have V6 being preferred whenever training is being followed. It would be great to have more training material around last mile rollout of V6. I don't see any material around DHCP V6 as well as router advertisements as well as PD and possible firewalling policies. So maybe something along those lines. I do understand that it's challenged because the equipment is extremely vast on the last mile domain, but at the same time, maybe one could cover the concepts and maybe with some kind of platform. So at least to give operators an idea, because if you go and speak to operators, 80 or 90% of them will assume that V6 is just dual stacking the core sessions and you are done. They don't understand that they need to work out on allocating prefixes all the way to last mile.
The
So-
access part, yeah.
Yes, access part. It's extremely missing. I've seen a couple of excellent tutorials around that, but tutorials are still very small amount, maybe for a day or so. They are not sufficient to cover the access part. Maybe a 3-day or a 4-day training program would be very useful.
Okay, Tashi?
On that, Anurag, I'll just, as an update for the last NPNO 3, we custom built IPv6 deployment in the enterprise network. Krishna is here from Nepal. Maz, me, and Krishna, we were involved in actually developing that. We did it focusing on how to do it on DNS, how to do it on your web, DHCPv6, on our enterprise LAN, also how to do prefix delegation all the way down, covering BRASs. So we did it, but I totally agree with whatever you said. We even have budgeted something for MSANs and DNGs that we might want to play with at our end so that we can have, like you suggested, something that focuses deployment on the last mile, which is more, I think, because on the core, like Anurag said, it's really not difficult to do, but the challenge is on the last mile. So NPNOC 3, we took it as, because that was the demand from the community, so we actually custom built that course, and we delivered it. So the guys are here, so if you have any feedback, whether it was good or bad, from the Nepal community, how did they like that?
Yeah,
So
maybe
maybe
share the
you can
content
share
as well.
that, yeah.
Over mailing list or something.
Yeah.
It would be excellent to see that.
Yeah, it was very helpful, and actually, whatever the training they attend, they just learn about core part. So when they come back to office, they have to work on access part also, and that time they get, same thing what they were doing earlier. They are not, getting what changes they can do, because core part already fixed. So just need to, little bit changes on that part. So last NPNOG we said that, okay, let's focus on, because so many, the emerging ISPs are coming and the resources are very less on the access part. So it was very nice, and we got very good feedback that at least they got knowledge that, okay, IPv6 can be used in the last mile.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they were thinking that, okay, IPv6 could be for the only education material, or higher level people can,
Absolutely, yeah,
use
yeah.
those
That's the problem,
things,
yeah.
or ISP only can, use in a college or enterprise offices. They cannot use, kind of thing was there. It was very nice, and very interactive session. I was also helping Tashi to, have that training. Thanks for that, and definitely we are looking forward to have those kind of training in future with the other platform also. Thanks.
Very good.
I think on presentations, we have seen some great presentations from Telstra and T-Mobile on how they did it on mobile phone side. But there's very little on the fixed part. And maybe we could, since we all are here, maybe we could just quickly do a survey. How many of people have broadband connection at home at this point of time, wired broadband connection? How many of get an IPv6 allocation from the upstream provider?
Oh, wow. To my surprise. You have.
A lot of work to be done. A lot of work needs to be done on the last mile side. That's the point.
Well,
Thank you.
that's very good input. Definitely, in fact, as Tashi mentioned, we already have something. I think we need to develop on that, maybe with help of some of you guys. But we need to make it standardized, more structured, so that we can reuse. That's very important.
Thank you very much. Very nice presentations, and I like it. Actually, I'm also the ethnic community trainer for
Thank
last couple of years. I conduct around 4-5 training, especially IPv6, IP routing, and some security stuff also. Okay, basically the training content with Epinic is okay. Basically, my background is I am as a operationals as well as in the academic. Okay, I teach Cisco last 15 years in the in these regions. Okay, basically the content with Epinic is like very simple. Okay, and it is better to add some examples, more examples. Like is like more about the Cisco oriented, and most of the lab is like spoon feeding. Okay, just copy and the paste. Okay, I also talked with the Tasi couple of times regarding the content. Okay, based on the demand, the content also should be up to date. Okay, and it should be better to add some more content. It's not vendor specific. It might be Junipers, it might be the others like Nokia, it might be the other stuff. Okay, and another feedback is like only for 2 or 3 days training is not sufficient. Okay, and based on the user's demand, like last NP-NOC 3, and Tasi supposed to deliver a high level of very advanced level of IPv6. I know his knowledge level is very, very excellent for the community. Okay, he has a operational experience as well. But the attendees, the level of attendees are very, very beginning. Okay, that's why he customized the training and deliver it so that it directly impact to the community. Okay, my suggestion is we need to update the content based on the users' demands. Not like, okay, do Sanok this time and again use the same content, deliver it. Okay, yeah, definitely the lab content is the same. But some of the technical content should be up to date as per the demand. Thank you very much.
That's our goal also. Yeah, thank you. Of course, it's ideal that we can do a longer term of like training for 2 weeks or more, but in reality, a lot of engineers cannot afford to attend the training for too long. So sometimes we can only like do 3 days. 3 days probably can be acceptable by your managers, but if you attend a 5-day training or 10-day training, they may not approve your training. So yeah, that's the tough part. Any other inputs? Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention. If you are interested in our program, please send your request, application, whatever, to training@apnec.net. Training@apnec.net. In the past 1 year or so, we received around 10 emails from people, and we haven't really followed up on that. That's, I have to say sorry, but going forward, after we have a better program, we will, we will follow up with you on the application, the previous application.
Okay, hello everyone. I was actually one of the first community trainer for APNIC.
Thank you.
Joined in 2015 in Indonesia. So after that, I have done a couple of workshops as a community trainer. But I just want to share some of my experiences and advice for the upcoming community trainers. Like, what everyone thinks is like you need to have a lots of technical knowledge and deliverable knowledge to the students and the audiences. But on top of it, one more important thing is like what we don't do is like we don't try to study about the audience. Like different cultures and different countries have different types of people, like how they behave and how they interact with you. So just from my experiences, good or bad experiences, I have tried to grow on my own, learning these mistakes. Like before going to a workshop in a different geographical location, if you are going outside of your country, please try to study about the people and their culture and how they engage with you for interactive discussion. Because like in some countries, you will go and you will see that none of you is asking any questions, and because that's their culture, because they are more down to earth art people. And they think that it's not a norm to ask someone, the teacher, a question or like that. So please try to study the culture of the country you are going to before jumping into community trainer. And definitely, you have to have the knowledge and the practice of delivering to people with audiences. So that will be all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. This is very, very good inputs. You know, and also, you know, one of the reasons why, you know, we could be community trainers is, you know, as I mentioned, local language support and regional experience and knowledge. And hopefully, you know, you can help us on that part. Like maybe when Jessica go to South Asia with the help of Mon, then, yeah, we can do a better job. And like Tashi, when you go to Hong Kong, actually you go to Hong Kong next week, and, we'll have other, you know, community trainers locally to help. Yeah, that would make the training more effective. Any other inputs?
Fahad Khan
Yeah,
from
sure.
Cybernet, Pakistan. Just a quick question. What is, you discussed about volunteering, right? The volunteering sessions that if people are volunteering for training.
Yeah.
So what would you describe it in a little bit? Like if someone volunteers, you said it in the
Yeah.
slides, that the volunteering sessions would also be. I'm bringing up this because last time there was a training in Pakistan, and only from this community, just Aftab had came there. And he was so much caught up because you have a little bit of room and many people, and one person cannot at least cater all the crowd and present it at the same time. So the local volunteering, I was just about to ask you that if a single person is coming to a country, it could be any country, single or two persons, then can the volunteering sessions from the local community, is that possible or not?
That's in fact our final goal. If in a lot of economies countries, the attendees, students would prefer the training to be conducted in local language. And so we want to make use of all this to reach the final goal. But it would take time. And also we need to make sure not just the content, but also the quality of the community trainers are good enough. That's our goal. You know, otherwise, if you know the trainers are not good enough, actually it will ruin our reputation. So we need to make our program more credible, and so the assessment of the community trainers would be very important. Any? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so my name is Awal. I'm from Bangladesh. I've been doing some training with Apricot, Sanok, BDNOG, but I've never been to Epinic community trainers training programs.
You can do that
I have
later.
been, yeah, I have been a participant, of course, in Epinic training programs. I was having some chat with Tashi. You already addressed the assessment because it's very important for someone who is good in a certain area should be assessed first before and yeah, my comment is how to make it sustainable. Like, well, someone gets on board, and then what he gets. So I know there are some benefits. If I don't miss your slides, is there any plan that Tashi was also saying that to make it sustainable? I mean, offering the trainer, for example, consecutive some events registration done by Epinic as a waiver or as a benefit,
Okay.
or maybe paying back to the community trainer, like Apricot maybe 2018, 2019, for example, or maybe Epinic programs. The community trainer gets some kind of benefits, like registration is done by Epinic, something like this. Thank you.
I think we certainly would consider that. I don't want to overcommit because you know we need to have internal approval, but this is what we want to do to at least to have a I don't know what is a better term, but it's to make the community trainers a close community. And we all have a common goal to build a better internet. And we would give our community trainers some kind of recognition. At least, at the very least, we will list them on our website. You know, right now we don't have anyone, so yeah, it's mysterious. But going forward, we'll make it like recognized.
Yeah, just a quick follow-up. I know there are many people out there who are really good, who want to join conferences and contribute.
Yeah.
But because of sometimes it's distance, the airfare is high, maybe some, because of the registration fees is high, they never get the chance to come to join the meetings by their own. So that could be a good help. I mean, things to make it sustainable, to make it a win-win situation here. Thank you.
We will consider. Yeah, thank you for your input.
Hi, I'm Ziama Abdeen from Sri Lanka. I'm running a training organization for the last 15 years and trained more than 19,000 plus students in Sri Lanka, Maldives, and Middle East. I would like to share some experience with you. Mostly if you see the students who are attending for the classes, it will be better to keep a benchmark to them to take to the classes, like a prerequisites before to come to the classes. Otherwise, as we have discussed, the trainer is highly capable and deliverable, high level of content, but the audience are less capacity to capture those things, mean the resources will be wasting. So that will be one. So prerequisites exams or maybe any other online examination, like, will be better. Otherwise, maybe I can answer for you on something. It will be some sort of anything. It will be that. Again, the content has to be modifiable according to the local examples. So if I use training in Sri Lanka, I use most of the Sri Lankan examples, all the Sri Lankan telcos, Sri Lankan companies on my examples. I used to take it. So if I'm running a training in Maldives, I used to take all the Maldives examples. If I'm in the Middle East, I used to take that one. That will touch their heart, and that will be learning process for them. If you take A and B and C, and that will be very difficult for them to understand. Thank you.
Thank you for your input. This will be a challenge to us, and that's why we would need local partners. We need local partners to help us. In fact, as I mentioned, our training materials are kind of open source, so we can like do. Yeah. If you help, then we can do that. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Zizet Kabir from Bangladesh. Well, I've been listening to all the fellow colleagues here. I was fortunate to be Epinic community trainer once.
Thank you.
But I'm actually engaged with SANOG since 2008 perhaps, and before that, trainers in the industry. I was very fortunate. Based on that, after coming to some position in SANOG, I started promoting our local people to say more in the public places, and like trainings and conferences and I was a bit, I better say, please don't take it otherwise, just for the sake of discussion, I'm saying I was a bit successful regarding making new trainers in our community. And
I think it's well recognized. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
But the thing I wanted to say, what I did, I actually promoted our local people wherever it was possible, but that was not all. The community trainers, you are trying to find good, literate, and who can throw better people. But later on, I actually did some observation on how he's performing and what are the things that I think if he can modify, can do better. This way, I actually interacted with most of the trainers, local trainers, and tried to correct. Most of the times I was lucky that I was correct, but sometimes I got some bad feedback as well. But the ultimate was they were corrected. They are now better instructors, better community leaders as well, and doing good for all of us. So I would suggest you to find some curriculum which is not directly actually goes any personal obligations or something, but can correct some of the community leaders so that they can continue further, they can improve further. And you know, we have a very healthy and good technical community in our region. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. In fact, I must say, here is South Asia, so yeah, I can say. I actually think South Asians are very passionate on this part more than the other sub-regions. Yeah. And I can only say Hong Kong, maybe. It's very, very hard to recruit Hong Kong people to this kind of training. It's very difficult, although some of them actually are very good engineers, but they don't want to do it. They prefer to enjoy life, maybe, or maybe they work too hard already. But here in this region, I have to say I admire all of you that you have a very good community, and maybe a lot of our community trainers will be from this region. But having said that, we also need to recruit community trainers from other regions. But yeah, I think it's probably easier to recruit community trainers in this region than the other regions. Thank you. Oh, sorry, 3 minutes. You have to get ready for the very important session. Thank you very much for the input. Actually, Jessica and Tashi have helped take the notes, and we will do better follow-up. Oh, more?
Okay, just a small thing, like, just correct me if I'm mistaken. Okay, one important thing is like community trainer is more like a voluntary project. So please concentrate on do not concentrate on the perks, what you are going to get from APNIC. So rather than, because the fun is actually not going to somewhere or getting some sort of honorarium. It's actually more about delivering to the students, because when you will see that some of your students are working in a big position, it will just make you proud. So I would rather say that concentrate on that part. And one important part, like advice, small advice, like, is it possible to make it like that, that if someone has not done a IPv4 or routing workshop, he or she cannot do the MPLS workshop? So like a dependency-based course curriculum, because what happens is like, while in security workshop, we are concentrating more on Unix or Linux system administration-based tasks. And if someone do not have that experience, and they're jumping into security, and we have to give some more effort and times to learn it, to teach them the basics. The same thing is done for the MPLS, IPv4, and IPv6.
We will try our best to like make sure that students meet the prerequisite.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jamie.
Yeah, just to add on to that, you know, I think there could be room for having people come on as assistant for training course maybe once or twice to make sure that they are trained up to a certain level. But I can tell you something, I do training in Australia for first aid and ambulance work. It wasn't until I started doing training that I really understood the material. So one benefit of being a trainer is that will increase your knowledge, both breadth and depth, in the topics that you are presenting in. So you may not want to become a professional trainer for the rest of your life, but in the areas that you are training, I can guarantee it will help you solidify your knowledge.
Thank you. Very good points, Jamie. Okay, time's is up. Thank you for joining, and thank you all for the inputs. We will do proper follow-up. Thank you. Please go to the Meet the EC session.